everyone, the title of my story is The Ant and the Dove. On a hot day of summer, an ant was searching for some water. La 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 la. After walking around for some time, he saw a river. He was very thirsty. To drink the water, he climbed up on a small rock. While trying to drink the water, he slipped and fell into the river. Help! Boo! Help me! Boo! Help! Boo! There was a dove sitting on a branch of a tree who saw the ant falling into the river. Seeing the ant in trouble, the dove quickly dropped a leaf into the river. The ant moved towards the leaf and quickly climbed up on it. The dove then carefully pulled the leaf out and placed it on the land. However, one day, a hunter arrived at the forest. He saw the beautiful dove sitting on the tree and aimed his gun at the dove. The ant who was saved by the dove saw this and quickly bit him on the toe. He shuddered from the pain and dropped his gun. Ouch! 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 The dove was alarmed by the voice of the hunter and quickly flew away. My dear friends, the moral of my story is a good deed never goes unrewarded. Thank you.
欢乐的音乐响起，骑上旋转木马，画了一圈又一圈。爸爸按下相机快门，我们嘴角微扬，乘搭幸福摩天轮，画了一圈又一圈，吻着你爱笑的眼睛，数着我卷发上的满天星。再画一圈圈小水珠，落在水族箱，借着纸船向远方的梦想扬帆。画一圈圈手中的棒棒糖，嘴里的甜甜圈，我们捉着咖啡杯旋啊转啊。再画一圈圈魔术师的高顶礼帽，可不可以变出香喷喷的铜锣烧？画一圈再一圈，是不是太空人点亮胖胖的月亮？我脸上的小酒窝，取下妹妹的婴儿肥，如何告别圆圆的脸？等我长大老了，告诉你。再画一圈圈，在你手心画圈圈，有爸爸开车的钥匙圈，有妈妈扭腰的舞蹈圈，还有你，还有你，圆圆的双眼，装下大大的世界。
Hi everyone, I'm Ella and I'm 10 years old this year. Today, I'm going to tell you about a speech titled, Kindness in a Time of Coronavirus, or Why Hoarding is Irrational. When the dustbin level turned orange because of the COVID-19 in Singapore, were you guilty of rushing to the supermarket just to buy packets of rice, cereal, or even toilet paper? If you were, well, just note that you're definitely not the only one. When there's a contagious virus spreading around, especially when there's no vaccine available, fear will influence the behavior of everyone around us. This article titled, Kindness in the Time of Coronavirus, or Why Hoarding is Irrational, caught my eye while scanning newspaper, and I decided it was something I would like to talk about. I began talking about Singaporeans wiping out grocery stores and wearing masks even though they're not sick. I'll then talk about how the COVID-19 was able to spread so fast. During the early stage of the pandemic, the Singaporean government announced that the risk assessment level was at DORSCON Orange. DORSCON Orange stands for Disease, Outbreak, Response System, Condition, Orange Level, which means that the disease is severe and can easily spread from person to person. Upon hearing the announcements, Singaporeans began frantically clearing their shelves in the supermarkets and grocery stores. Items that were in demand were toilet paper, instant noodles, rice, vegetables, meat produce, and other sorts of supermarket items. They stocked on so much that supermarket shelves were actually empty by the end of the first day. In addition to the situation, many people were selling masks online at very steep prices. In the past, a pack of masks would be sold for a few dollars. Now, they were selling it for over $20. In my view, we shouldn't panic and stock on items that we don't need because it's very selfish. Prevent those who truly need these items to not get them. This will raise the prices in items as there are people who exploit the situation as there's a high demand. Now that I've seen the mess the virus has created, I'll now tell you about how it all started. The COVID-19 originated from a seafood market in Wuhan, China. To date, there have been many deaths caused by the virus. Some people say the virus is spread through bats, but the people of Wuhan claim that they have not been eating bats. There are still some people who think that the bats may have passed the virus to an animal called the pangolin. And since the people of Wuhan eat exotic animals, the person who consumed or handled these animals may have contracted the virus first. So, how did it start in Singapore? Well, it started on the 23rd of January. It was the first case in Singapore involving a 66-year-old Chinese national from Wuhan, China. This virus is easily spread from person to person. Thus, when people go gather or go to crowded places, they can easily spread the virus to the person they come into contact with. Whether it's COVID-19 or any other diseases that are contagious, it is my hope that we will all practice responsible behavior. Think about your actions and how it affects those around you. I know we can beat this virus. It is up to us. Thank you.
大家好，我是来自沙拉越市乌地的赖雨桐，今年10岁，就读4年级。今天我要给大家带来的讲题是我是不倒翁。小时候，我找到了一件宝物，我有它藏在一堆被遗弃的玩具中，直挺挺地站立着。它是个椭圆形的塑料玩偶，鼓鼓的肚子，脸上挂着笑容。我觉得好奇，无数次将它推倒，但是它用力地摇晃了几次，仍旧直挺挺地站立着。看它那滑稽的脸儿，我不服气，把它的头栽在地上。谁知道我一放手，它就一个劲儿地来个大翻身。这奇怪的小东西就是不倒翁。我特别喜欢这不倒翁，就把它放在书桌上，陪伴着我。记得刚上4年级时，因适应不了繁重的功课和考试的压力，再加上老师对我的重望，让我参加各项比赛，使我倍感疲累。当时我有了放弃的念头，功课上遇到难题就搁置一旁，习题赶不完就不做，更放弃了参加各项比赛的机会。直到有一天，我回到家，发现不倒翁竟然倒在书桌上，我非常惊讶，上前把不倒翁扶正，但是我怎么努力，他还是不肯站立。当时我慌张的大哭，跑到厨房向妈妈求救。妈妈接过不倒翁，对我说，要救不倒翁并不难，只要找回不倒翁的信念，以及坚持不倒的毅力，那么就可以像从前一样站立。说着，妈妈从围裙口袋里拿出一个半圆的铁球，扭开不倒翁的身体，将那铁球放进不倒翁的肚子里，再锁紧。我的不倒翁就这样复活啦！它直挺挺地站立着，对着我微笑。我擦了擦眼泪，也笑啦。我明白妈妈用心良苦，在妈妈的心目中，我就是小小不倒翁。 妈妈要学会坚强，学会不倒翁的精神，面对困难或挫折都应该勇敢不懈地去克服。不倒翁时时提醒着我，面对挫折要懂得调整自己，跌倒了也要努力站起来，再次微笑。谢谢。
春眠不觉晓，处处闻啼鸟。我想请问大家，你们知道这首诗的名字吗？不知道对吧？让我来告诉你们吧。其实我也不知道，因为这是我4岁那一年参加幼儿园的才艺比赛所表演的诗歌。是的，大家没有听错，真的是4岁。我还记得那天，周老师要从我们60人中选出15人代表参赛。可能会有评审老师怀疑，一个4岁的孩子怎么可能记得那么清楚？真的，我没有骗大家，因为我特别清楚，当时被选中的小朋友都在哭，只有我一人边举手边喊着：“老师，我。”最后，我拿了一个特有奖回家。进入小学之后，我就开始参加讲故事比赛。可能是上天的眷顾，每一次比赛都会拿奖，而且我越来越喜欢演讲了。2个原因：第一，拿奖很开心，每次在台下，司仪会一个一个叫出得奖者名字，我的心就是打鼓一样，砰砰砰砰砰敲个不停。听到老师说今天的比赛第3名是，我就会在心里默念：不要叫我，不要叫我。过后，老师宣布今天比赛冠军是，心想：叫我！今天的比赛冠军是黄永汉。我就会一路小跑走上台去领奖了。第二，我喜欢在故事中扮演不同的角色，凶猛的老虎，狡猾的狐狸，可爱的猴子。可是每次比赛都特别痛苦，只要妈妈一有空就会叫我：哎，过来背稿给我听。甚至连晚饭后的休息时间，妈妈都不肯放过我。她会摆出麦克风，来，给我再练习一遍，从语调、语音、动作重复，再重复。她不嫌烦，我都嫌烦。到了学校，老师也不肯放过我，尤其是我有几个发音经常不准，1、2、3、4会读成1、2、3、4，自己会读成自己。更无奈的是，比赛总是会发生一些小意外。还记得去年在学校，因为太紧张了，鼻血哗的一下就流出来了，幸好陈老师就在旁边，马上帮我止血，还不知从哪里找了一块冰放在我的额头上，幸亏最后有惊无险。还有一次，我参加婆罗洲艺术节的比赛，评判老师点评对我说：你的语调、语音都很好，但是另外一位女同学也不错。我实在没办法决定。天哪，哪有这样的事情啊？你们说我回答好还是不好呢？ 最后还是拿了一个亚军奖回家。各位，这就是我学习演讲的过程啦。尽管一路上挑战不断，但我没有想过要放弃，因为我老妈常常在我耳边唠叨一句话：不是看到希望而坚持，而是坚持才看到希望。虽然很烦人，但却很有道理。一直在坚持，只凭这5个字，就足以让我们绽放光芒。所以现在，我正在爬这座演讲的山。虽然爬得很辛苦，但我相信总有一天我会爬到这座演讲的山顶，等你。谢谢大家。
When you're fat, nothing fits right. When you're overweight, your weight becomes a compass in everything you do. Good day to the honorable judge and fellow audience. My topic for today is love yourself for who you are. Growing up, I've always felt a sense of shame when it came to my body weight and size. My weight didn't go unnoticed. Everyone has something to say about it. I think this is what triggered my insecurities. I remember growing up, I hated to shop for clothes, as I would often go to the adult section. I wore this shame until I was a teen. When I went to junior school, the insecurities about my weight started to grow. In a result, I did what my mom did. I tried a few diets that I could get my hands on, low carb and small portion. In hindsight, I don't think I was plump as a child. I was a little bigger than the kids at my grade, but I wasn't overweight. The perception of my peers, friends, and family started to change me. The shame affected my self-esteem and confidence. By chance, I reconnected with a former schoolmate of mine. He was also a fat boy in his primary school. The first thing I noticed about him was his massive weight loss. Our conversations were mainly centered around our weight loss journey, the joy and insecurities. Due to all some diets, I had lost some weight. He asked me, "Do you ever feel enough?" We both laughed because no matter how much weight we lost, we would still feel fat. We were never comfortable or enough. He shared the same sentiment about his body. No matter how much weight you lose, there will still be that scared little kid inside of you who is haunted by all the verbal bullying and opinions about his weight. The cycle never ends. After some time, I got exhausted from all the diets. Last year, I made a new goal. I wanted to do things differently. If I was going to lose weight, it was going to be through healthy habits and mindset. No quick fix diets. The journey has not been easy, but it has been amazing. The journey has been teaching me that self-love and acceptance is an everyday act and decision. I have come to realize that not until you accept your appearance, you can accept yourself. Knowing this has been liberating me as a low self-esteem person. Yes, there's still hardship in life when you're different, but there are such stunning gifts too. Many of us are the people we are, kind, thoughtful, dedicated, not in spite of our differences, but because of it. So let's lift each other up, love our bodies, and treat them with the loving kindness they deserve. Thank you.
Hello, honorable judges and friends. Today, I'm going to tell a story entitled Raindrop and Snowflake. Once upon a time, there was a little drop of water who dreamed of becoming a snowflake and turning the landscape white. Years passed, and then there was a great drought which evaporated the little drop from the lake where he lived. When he reached the sky, he became part of a small cloud. As soon as the weather turned cold, the little drop looked for a nice bit of countryside where he could fall. And help cover the place in snow. But only a little bit of snow fell, and as soon as it touched the ground, it melted. And there the little drop had to remain, waiting for the sun's rays to shine again and send him back up to the clouds. When the sun shone, the little drop ascended once more, turned to snow again, and down he fell. Again, just after landing, he melted. This happened several times. Finally, the little drop went and joined a great big cloud, where millions of other drops had crowded together. Despite being gigantic, the conditions in that cloud were rather uncomfortable. A few of the drops watering everyone else around, making them squash up together amid a great racket. Biggest drops at the bottom, smallest drops at the top. Come on, faster, faster, there's no time to waste. Our little drop wasn't keen on all of this, and he considered of falling down to earth again. But a nice friendly drop next to him managed to talk him out of it. Psst, psst. Where are you going? You don't want to take part? Seeing how surprised our little drop looked, the friendly drop explained that they were preparing for a big snowfall. All of us here love being snow and covering the land for days. That's why we've all gathered together here. Years ago, I would try doing it on my own, but I learned I couldn't manage it without help. I found this nice cloud where we all help each other a little. And thanks to our teamwork, we've made some of the best snowfalls ever! A little later, both drops were flying down through the sky as snowflakes, surrounded by millions and millions of other flakes, turning the green fields white. And with great joy, our little drop realized that when everyone worked together, they could achieve what had at first seemed impossible. This is my story about Raindrop and Snowflake. Do you like Snowflake? Thank you.
大家好，我是来自沙捞越食物地的赖雨谦，今年12岁。今天我要为大家呈现一则演讲，题目为《拇指姑娘》。阿姐，今天又有比赛，你要好好表现哦。雨谦，不要紧张，你很棒。哇，又要比赛了，加油加油！大会主席、各位来宾以及各位评判老师，大家好！我很感激为我打气的每一个人，他们为我竖起的大拇指，便是我今天能站在这里给大家演讲的主要动力。从小我就参加各种比赛，幼儿园豆豆班的我，虽然搞不清楚是什么比赛，但是却很享受上台领奖的感觉。每一次得奖，我都可以无比的兴奋。即使只拿了一个小小的参赛奖。长大了一些，我发现为什么有人拿的奖杯那么高，于是我决定每一次都要拿的是最高的奖杯。再长大一点儿，我知道冠军是表示全场表现最佳，于是我的目标就是一定要成为表现最佳的那一个。就这样，慢慢长大的我，不再满足于一个小小的参赛奖。每一次的比赛，我都想夺得冠军。颁奖的环节是我最痛苦的环节，因为我要努力的施展魔法鼓励奖。千万不要喊我的名字，不要不要！殿军，这个给别人吧。亚军啊， 这个还可以。我有冠军！赖雨谦，赖雨谦，赖雨谦！这些小魔法很常都是失灵的，因此参赛对我来说变成了一件很累人的事了。我不想再参加比赛了。父母和老师经常称赞我有天分，不要白白浪费了我的才华，而我就经常以各种借口推脱。在一次的歌唱比赛中，我又无缘夺冠。那一次，我真的发了很大的脾气，手里拿着参赛奖的我，忍了很久。离开赛场上车后，我哭了。那晚，妈妈拿出了一本相册，外面有我小时候胖嘟嘟的照片，旁边有4个醒目的字眼：拇指姑娘。妈妈翻开相册，里面收藏的是我4岁开始参赛的点点滴滴。这些照片和泛黄的简报，让我回想起每一次参赛的美好时光，家人在赛场的陪伴，用心指导的老师，还有每一次比赛后的快餐店大餐。收藏本里的每一页都有拇指贴，原来那些都是妈妈给我的赞。无论参赛成果如何，在妈妈的心目中，我都是那个棒棒的拇指姑娘。难怪妈妈总喜欢在台下给我竖拇指。我明白妈妈的苦心。不要小看短短的拇指哦，因为这些竖起来的拇指可以为我的梦想搭上一把云梯。我会珍惜大家的鼓励，也会学习为身边的人竖起拇指，传播拇指的力量，带一位自信、开心的拇指姑娘。记得给我一个赞哦！谢谢大家。
Selamat sejahtera. Terima kasih pengurusi majelis yang saya hormati, Prahakim, guru-guru dan rakan-rakannya. Nama saya Deng Singh. Saya berumur 12 tahun. Saya belajar di sekolah SJKC Pisang. Saya menyampaikan sebuah cerita yang bertajuk Si Corona. Hai, namaku Corona. Aku adalah virus. Ukuranku sangat kecil. Kamu tidak bisa melihatku. Aku dan teman-temanku suka sekali bermain di sini. Huhu, hiha, hooray. Aku menyebabkan banyak manusia sakit. Mereka jadi demam, batuk, bahkan sesak nafas. Manusia jadi takut padaku. Aku mengerti jika kamu memang takut. Tapi jangan khawatir. Ada banyak manusia yang sembuh dariku. Itu karena para dokter dan perawat siap membantu. Kamu haruslah melakukan cara ini agar aku tidak bermain di tubuhmu. Pertama, cucilah tangan dengan sabun dan air minimal 20 detik. Kedua, makanlah makanan yang bergizi agar badan sihat. Ketiga, pakailah masker saat batuk bersin. Hindari tempat ramai beramai. Di rumah dulu. Ingatlah selalu bahawa orang tuamu akan selalu menjagamu. Semoga sihat selalu ya. Sekian, terima kasih.
Good evening, honorable judges and friends. My story entitled The Emperor's Seed. A wise king was growing old and knew it was time to choose his successor. So he invited young people from his kingdom and told them, "It is soon time for me to step down and choose the next king. I have decided to choose one of you. I am going to give each one of you a seed today. I want you to plant the seed, water it, and come back here 1 year from today with what you have grown from this seed. I will then judge the plants that you bring, and the one I choose will be the next king. There was a boy named Ling, planted the seed and watered it carefully. Every day he would water it and watch to see if it had grown. After a few months, the pots really came to life. Some had trees starting to grow, some had flowers, and some had leafy shrubs. Poor Ling still had nothing growing in his pots, leading the other children to make fun of him. A year passed, and it was soon time to return to the palace to show what had grown and decide on the new era. Ling was anxious, as his pot still showed no signs of life. What if they punish me? They want to know that I've watered it every day. To think that I'm lazy. Ling and the other children entered the palace gates. By now, some of the plants were looking magnificent, and the children were wondering which one the emperor would choose. Ling was embarrassed as the other children looked at his lifeless pot and scoffed. The emperor came out and started to make his way through the crowd, looking at the many impressive trees, leafy shrubs, and flowers that were on display. The boys all puffed their chests out and tried to look as regal as possible, hoping that they would be chosen as the heir to the empire. Then the emperor came to Ling. "What happened here, little boy?" he asked. I've watered the pot every day, but nothing ever grew," Ling muttered nervously. After a few hours, the emperor finally finished his assessment. He stood in front of the children and congratulated them on their efforts. "Clearly, some of you desperately want to be emperor and would do anything to make that happen. But there is one more that I would like to point out, as he has come to me with nothing. Ling, come here, please." The emperor held up the pot for all to see, and the other children laughed. It's just a barren pot." Then the emperor continued. "Yes, a barren pot. A year ago, I gave you all a seed. I told you to plant the seed, water it, and return with your plants. The seeds that I gave you all were boiled until they were no longer viable and wouldn't grow. But I see before me thousands of plants and only one barren pot. Dear children, integrity and courage are more important values for leadership than proud displays. So Ling here will be my heir. Thank you."
Everyone here, it is a great honor for me to be able to share my story. For those of you who might not know me, I'm the kind of person who likes no surprises in my life. I like an organized and planned life. I plan almost everything, from what I like to eat for lunch to what time my classes should be, and if I could, even my conversations would be planned. In short, I'm the kind of person who likes to stick to my charted path. So, when my mother told me to join this competition called the World Scholars Cup early last year, I didn't know what possessed my mind to agree so willingly. I guess it's because I like to compete. I formed a group with my brother and my best friend, and I thought that this competition was going to be loads of fun. It was at first. I planned our group studies and even decided on when and where to meet. I thought they were doing great and that we were ready when the day of the event came. Then the first event began. It was a debate, but when I first saw the motion, my heart sank. For the first time in my life, my mind was a complete blank. No words came into my mind. I struggled to gather my thoughts, but it was as if the light went out in my head. I could see from the looks on my friends' faces that They too were lost. I was so ready to cry, but there's no way I'll embarrass myself in front of the other contestants, so I didn't. Things didn't get any better after that. There were 2 other events on that day, and they were just as tough as the debates. Shocked to say, it didn't end well. In fact, all 3 of us felt so defeated by the end of the first day of the competition, I was willing to call it quits. And from the looks of the other 2, they were thinking the same thing. For the first time in my life, I didn't know what to do. It was a horrible feeling, not being able to be in control of the situation and to feel so lost. I wandered so far away from my treasure path that I felt I couldn't find my way back. To me, the only way out was to quit. My mom didn't say anything. Then during dinner, she told us that she knew it was hard, but she believed that if we really set our mind into it, we can do anything. Those words helped me decide what to do. We qualified for the intermediate round. I don't know how, but we did. I asked my mom to get us a teacher who could guide us for the competition. We organized group studies very often, and my mother helped a lot in assisting us with work too. In short, the ending was far better than the beginning, and we made it to the finals. It was the best experience of my life, as I got to attend the finals in Yale. An amazing experience ever. I never would have got there if I had given up halfway. So I guess what I'm trying to say is sometimes it's okay to wander away from our plans. It may seem scary and there may be times we doubt ourselves, but it's okay because all those who wander are not always lost.
大家好，相信大家应该还记得，在2018年有一部很火的古装电视剧，叫《延禧攻略》。里面有一个看似貌不惊人、弱不禁风的小宫女魏璎珞，一路开挂，对淑贵人、高贵妃、纯妃、富察皇后，甚至连皇上都被她气得吐血。这部剧有多火呢？连我那平时从来不看电视剧的老爸，都从第1季开播起就被牢牢地钉在电视机前，一路追到70集。通过这部电视剧，我知道了皇帝的老婆中地位最低的那个叫贵人。不过今天我要讲的不是这个贵人，而是那个在我过去6年的小学生活里，让我又爱又恨，逼迫我不断前进的那个贵人。我还记得5岁那年，有一个短头发穿牛仔裤的小女孩来我家玩，第1次见面，我们就成了无话不谈的好朋友。可是当时我怎么也没有想到，几年后的我们会因为比赛，渐渐由朋友变成了敌人。4年级讲故事比赛，我得了全校第1，可是在周赛被反超，无缘全国赛。你们猜猜我被谁反超？没错，就是这个卢贵人。5年级讲故事比赛，这次我吐气扬眉，得了周赛冠军呢。他只拿了个第3名，却也足以得到晋级全国赛的资格。可是我怎么也没有想到，自己又再次两手空空。而最后一个被叫上领奖台接受冠军奖杯的，你们知道是谁吗？就是这个卢贵人。我又被反超了。当我看到大会主席把奖杯颁给他的时候，我拼命地忍着，不让我的泪水流出来。直到所有人拍大合照的时候，我再也忍不住了，一下子就哭了出来。唉，这段往事实在太伤心了，不提也罢。幸好妈妈有订购比赛的录影。从那之后，我每天早上睁开眼睛，第1件事情就是打开他的比赛录影来看。每次熬夜读书犯困的时候， 我也拿他的录影出来，只要一看，马上就精神了。说实话，一开始我只是想卧薪尝胆，通过这样的方式来激励自己。可是慢慢的，我发现他的表达非常自然，一出场就有那种舍我其谁的气势，这一点我真是自愧不如。卢贵人啊，他真是我的贵人，那个让我下跪的人。6年级全国赛之前，每天晚上8点半，我都会准时站在客厅的麦克风前和老爸一起练习，一直练到凌晨12点半。因为我知道那个卢贵人肯定也在拼命的练习。最后，我终于得到了幸运女神的眷顾，拿了全国演讲比赛的第2名。但是我想说，如果没有卢贵人这个最好的对手，这一切可能都不会发生。各位，如果运气好的话，我们的一生中会遇到2种贵人。第一种是欣赏你、提拔你、给你机会的贵人，而另一种贵人呢，可能你不一定会喜欢他，甚至会有一点讨厌他，但是你们在一起会迸发出美丽的火花，彼此竞争，一同前进。如果没有他，我就不会这么疯狂地爱上演讲，更不会再一次又一次地逼自己努力一点，再努力一点。结果在这条学习演讲的道路上，越走越远，越飞越高。而在最后，我要告诉大家，现在的我们已经从微信互相拉黑，重新变回了好友。而且在几个月之后，我们也将第一次携手组队，一起去参加诗歌朗诵比赛。所以在这里，我要衷心地对这个贵人说一句：卢贵人，谢谢你。
Did you know that the global cases of COVID-19 is 75.4 million? And did you know that human rights plays an important role for the overall development of our country and humans on a personal level? Honorable members of the Board of Judges, my fellow young speakers, and to everyone, this is Joshua S. Salcedo from the beautiful islands of the Philippines. We are living in these challenging times. We call it the new normal, the problems that confront the country, the world, and humanity. As the youth of today, how do we keep our sanity unscathed? How do we contribute to the society? And how do we keep our hopes high for a better and stronger society? Last 2019, I am humbled to have the opportunity to become part of a local organization here in the Philippines. There I saw how that organization worked up close and personal, and how many conflicts are confronting our locality today. But this is only in our locality, so how much more in the national and global level, considering that we have a global health pandemic. Thus, I believe that reality is never an excuse for why we should tolerate the injustices happening today. In this global health crisis, there are much more problems concerning the government and engaging with the youth. As a member of the youth population and an advocate, I tend to engage myself into some kind of political discussions. But some people tend to shut our voices out, the youth's voices. Imagine a society that you are trying to enter your car, but there is no car keys for you to open your car because they keep you on holding back. Given the chance today, I will be discussing how the human rights are being extremely violated in this time of pandemic. First, news headlines has captured stories of frontline healthcare workers facing abuse and discrimination as they travel from their homes to their workplaces. This fortifies the need for an improved and strengthened measures because clearly frontliners and their families are vulnerable to become targets of these horrible attacks. Second, people are silenced by fear. They cannot speak up nor report to their local authorities. What they need is an empowerment. Thus, they would be empowered by this. They would not be silenced by fear anymore. Third, Many students got left behind. Millions of learners was not able to pursue their studies because of the pressure, virus, and anxiety. I believe that everyone should have an access to quality education. No students should be left behind. We shall put in our minds that our voices matter, that human rights are extremely important for the overall development of our country and humans on a personal level. If we take a look at the basic human rights, we see how there are right to live, freedom of movement, right to practice any religion, and freedom for more. Each right plays a major role in the well-being of any individual. Furthermore, let us instill qualities like faith, honesty, and integrity to the youth. As we inculcate those qualities to the youth, they would be able to recalibrate their minds, they would be able to redirect their steps. It is very important to show and to prove to other people that the youth are much more than their problems and setbacks, that they are able to overcome any forms of their adversities. In conclusion, remember to be part of the solution and not the problem. Learn to educate people, learn to amplify your voice, be an advocate, and remember to be audacious on voicing out your opinions. I thank you.